Alrighty then, Successful Indie Author 5-Minute Focus, episode 370, The Comfort of Obscurity. Just like Stanley, he's not back there, but you see Baby Yoda is, but that's backup Baby Yoda. There's only 5 left after him, because after our walk this morning, Stanley went to town on the remaining bits of Baby Yoda, and it is now completely and utterly destroyed outside of my office. Anyway, backup Baby Yoda number, I think, 6. Sort of obscurity, what does that mean? It's a place from which to shout. It's a place from which to avoid all of the goings on in the outer world. It's a place to be safe. It's a place to hide. What do you do when you're there? You can hop online, you can troll people, you can do all kinds of odd things, you can do whatever you want because you're obscure. But at what point do you need to come out? Is it easier to avoid risk when you're in private, when you're there, when you're just by yourself? And how much risk do you need to avoid before you can step out and be more of a person in that? Especially because I'm talking authors here, your business. You do have to step out at some point in time. There's almost no way an author can be completely insulated, although we have the Bella Forrest model, where she made in excess of $30 million over the course of 4 or 5 years, and nobody ever knew who she was, or he was, or any of it was. But now, thanks to a lawsuit, we all know. And it's not pretty. But that obscurity still had a public presence, still had a huge marketing presence. So that's what they chose, to come out of obscurity in order to put on that public persona, which they maintained perfectly. Nobody knew anything, and here it was. Here was everything they needed to do for their business. So maybe that's good obscurity, because they removed all the risk of any kind of, hey, this author is this person, this author is hateful, this author, none of that, because you never saw any of it, because, hey, obscurity. So maybe there is good obscurity, but most of us, hey, we're out there, especially TikTok now, you kind of have to be public. You have to show your face. You have to show other things where people might know who you are. So one thing I learned in the Marine Corps when I did something and got my ass chewed upside down and backwards, and I came back in, and I actually hadn't done the wrong thing, but they just didn't want to hear it. And my boss, an Army colonel of all things, he said, if you're not making waves, you're not making a difference. He said, at least they're thinking now along a different path. And that's so are you making the right waves when you do step out, or are you just trolling people for no good reason? And I would never recommend that, because there's plenty of those people. And if we could only reach through the computer and shut off their computers, but we can't, and remove them. In my latest book, I actually use that as a plot thing, where the hackers go in and take care of that for some of the people who are just trolling and being bad. So, bad obscurity. Sorry about that. So when you're making waves, are you making the right waves? Are you making the right waves for your business? And there are some movers and shakers out there who are diving in. There are some incredible people who, they wrote books, and they're good books, but nobody knew they existed until they popped up on TikTok and made a difference. People related. They related to those folks, and all of a sudden their books took off. A couple of people got movie deals. Good for them. Always huge congratulations when somebody's successful through the fruits of their own labors. They went online, they showed their face, they made good of that, and all of a sudden, no longer obscurity, but good public presence. So how much is right for you? So this is where you have to look at it. A lot of people on 20 bucks at 50K will see people say, oh, I'm lurker, I'm just a lurker. But they're coming up and they're mentioning, hey, I'm a lurker, but I appreciate this post. I appreciate this. Congratulations on completing this. All those kinds of good things. So that's building your public persona, building your confidence to step out of your obscurity zone, your no low risk zone, and become a public persona, especially in the author community where we're all one tribe. We're all your peers. So if you're a writer, we're writers too. Hey, we've got something in common. We've got the big thing in common. We're all striving to entertain. We're striving to educate our readers. We're striving to get more readers. No matter how many you've got, you can always get more. So that's what we're all about. The comfort of obscurity. Some people stay there because they're afraid of what people might say when they step out, and that's something that is internal and personal. And maybe the Bella Forest model is right for you, where you personally are obscure, but you have a public persona that you then assume and present your model to the world, present your books, present your opinions, thoughts, and things like that, and still remain risk-free because you are obscure. But at some point in time, especially if you do a book signing, especially you go to a conference, who are you? What do you do? You might have to reach out, shake somebody's hand, and let them know, I'm this person, and this is who I am and who I want to be. So, comfort of obscurity as in a balance with a public presence. There's some people who can't go in public at all. Okay, I understand that. Then build a public presence. It's okay, while remaining in the comfort zone. All right, lost my thoughts there. All right, everybody, I'm thinking of backup Baby Yoda behind me. One last look because he's there hanging out. Look at him. Look at him. Just waiting. Stanley will be so happy when he comes in here and sees him. All right, everybody. Peace, fellow humans.